2. All right. You just experienced discussion of 4 jazz guitarists, and now something entirely different for episode 331 of Fine Music. I could be wrong. Let's ask Murray. He knows.
Okay, well, what I have today, the title is Dying Musicians Make the Best Albums.
Yeah.
3 samples, which you probably are familiar with, but I'm just going to run through them, of musicians who knew they were at their end of their lives and put out masterworks.
Mm-hmm.
The first one, of course, is Warren Zevon with The Wind. Absolutely amazing album. Going through his life, I mean, just going through the song titles, he's got like Dirty Life and Times. If you know anything about Warren Zevon, yep, he had a Dirty Life and Time, Disorder in the House, Rub Me Raw, taking on his wild boy image, but also really tender stuff like She's Too Good for Me, or Keep Me in Your Heart. That's the final song on the album. Keep Me in Your Heart, saying goodbye. El Amor de Mi Vida, he doesn't tell you who it was, but the love of his life, given him or her in a song. And as you may well know, the absolute best version of Dylan's Knocking on Heaven's Door ever recorded. I don't see how anyone can beat this version. And probably the most well-known is Guns N' Roses, which is just a piece of disgusting dog poo compared to this. It's just, yeah. I mean, Zevon was knocking on heaven's door, and you can feel it. So The Wind by Warren Zevon, definitely. Number 2 is Black Star by David Bowie.
Mm-hmm.
Released very, very close to the day he died. As is expected for Bowie, a different direction musically, working with a much more jazz-oriented album than anything he'd done since the early 90s. Kind of funky, and it's quite a variety of songs, but a few, I mean, like the Black Star song it's a hard one to figure out, but it's definitely him confronting the Black Stars, pretty certainly death. And he ends with I Can't Give Everything Away, another like end of life. What do I do? I've got all this stuff. What do I do with it? Whether it's physical stuff or mental stuff or whatever. And then there's the song Lazarus. The night he died, I was on Facebook, and the rumor came over, and people are like, no, this can't be true. It can't. David Bowie can't be dead. And I had listened to Black Star, but he had just released a video for the song Lazarus, and I hadn't even listened to it yet. So I clicked on that video. If you haven't seen it, you should go check it out. And like 2 seconds in, I'm like, yep, he's dead. This is definitely, and it's singing about I'm up here, look at me, I'm up in heaven, looking down on you, and then the video, he's like on his deathbed, literally. And then the video ends with him backing into a closet and the doors closing on him. So a very, very powerful video and very powerful album. But as I say, as with all Bowie albums, often a new direction, even at the very end. And finally, You Want It Darker by Leonard Cohen. Another amazing album, another facing death album. Interestingly, the previous album to this one, called Old Ideas, has a song on it called Darkness, which has the lyrics, I got no future, I know my days are few, the present's not so pleasant, just a lot of things to do. I thought the past would last me, but the darkness got that too. but that wasn't dark enough. So Leonard Cohen goes, "You want it darker? Here you go." And he has a repeated metaphor on here of "I'm out of the game." I mean, that's like the very first song, "You Want It Darkest," starts with, "If you are the dealer, I'm out of the game. Um, if you are the healer, I'm broken and lame. If thine is the glory, then mine must be the shame. You want it darker, we killed the flame." And then a little later in, a few songs in, he has a song called "Leaving the Table," which starts out, "I'm leaving the table, I'm out of the game." It's him, saying what's going on here. Um, and then songs like "Traveling Light," what could that be about? And
Is that the J.J. Cale song?
I think it's an original. I don't know. Let me see.
Curious.
No, it's an original. It's a Leonard Cohen
Cool.
original. And like there's one, if I didn't have your love, and if you know anything about Leonard Cohen, oftentimes when he's singing about love, like George Harrison, he's singing about God. He's singing about religion, even though he was more of a Buddhist than a Christian. But there's similarities between the various religions, especially when you're at the end and you're facing what's next for me, and some sort of reaching out to God of some sort seems a common thing to do. And he does that a lot in this album. So there you go. And none of them are sad albums. They're all facing the reality, but with a very realistic eye to, and not only forward to death, but all looking back on the life they've had and kind of wrapping things up. So "The Wind" by Warren Zevon, "Black Star" by David Bowie, "You Want It Darker" by Leonard Cohen. We posting things various places. If you have other samples, put them in the comments. I'd love to know what other albums there are that share this feature. Because rock stars have this habit of dying unprepared.
Well, one comes to mind immediately for me,
Okay.
and you obliquely mentioned him, and that's George Harrison's final album,
Okay.
Brainwashed. And Brainwashed is nothing different than what he's already done. It's just that he encapsulated everything in the one album. All his different aspects of his personality are in there.
Okay.
His personality, he was
that.
not. Sorry?
I'm not familiar with that one. I'll have to
Oh yeah,
check it.
Brainwash came out in 2001, the year he died. And for example, there's some instrumentals to showcase the slide guitar. There's a song called Brainwash. The title song from the album is called Brainwashed, and it's a very this is an aspect of George that people know about because they first heard it on Taxman, right? That he would have a little edge against society, right?
Yeah.
And Brainwashed, you can guess, it's all about how society brainwashes you. It's really well done. And he knew he was dying. He left instructions on how to finish the album. He died before he could finish it.
Oh, wow.
So his son, with
Donnie.
Donnie, with the guy from ELO.
Oh, Jeff Lynne.
Jeff Lynne. They followed his instructions to complete the album.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and it came out a few months after his death. So it's good if you're a George Harrison fan at all. You'll definitely find very familiar things and done well.
Cool. Right.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the YouTube video of David Bowie doing Heroes?
Which one?
It's the one where he tells the audience he's going to do Heroes, and then they're going to take a break. And when they come back, they're going to do the entire Low album.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that.
I think that's a great Bowie number. Just at the top of his game, endearing to the audience, and just the music was great.
Yeah.
Okay. We leave the research to all of you out there. in YouTube land, Facebook land, or there are other albums. We just can't think of them right now. Yeah,
Right.
okay. Thank you, Murray.